Well, hey, thanks everybody for being here at the Virtual Propane Expo. Appreciate you coming by and sitting in to listen to some of these presenters. As you know, we do record all the presentations, so any presentation you hear and you like, you can then come back and get a link. In about a week, we'll have them all on the Expo. You can get the link, share it with your other partners or friends in the industry, fill them in on some of the details you learned here. So again, thanks for being here. My name is Bill Stomp. Welcome to the Virtual Propane Expo. And here's, I'm going to go ahead and look at the Virtual Propane Expo with you for a second. So there's over 250 exhibitors here now. It's a growing location for companies to share what's going on as far as new tools, new technology, new services, new products that were designed specifically for the propane and multi-fuels industry. Because we can't be in person at all the expos this year, and it looks like most likely the first 8 months of next year, it's become vital for us to still be able to connect, transact, and learn, and that's what the virtual propane is for you. So on the Virtual Propane Expo, just a quick orientation. Obviously, we have the home page, and you can click in to see the exhibitors and the presentations. Next, you can click right into the sponsors. This will take you right to their site. HIAB is one of our sponsors. They'll be speaking with us this morning, and we're grateful for their sponsorship. There's other sponsors that are premium sponsors, and then there's a bunch of exhibitors throughout the expo that have put sometimes special offers, sometimes links right to their videos and their brochures, and that sort of all the stuff you would normally get at a traditional expo. You can get it a little bit easier here, COVID friendly, and maybe not the optimum because we all like to shake hands and see people, but certainly it's easier, more cost effective, and it works in this COVID world, right? We have partnered with a lot of associations, a lot of the trade journals, almost actually all the trade journals have partnered with the Virtual Propane Expo to get the word out to the industry. So that's a quick, a really quick look at the site and at the expo. Feel free to plink around and go and check out the rest while you're here. And so without further ado, I want to just take you over to the presenters and to the actual presentation area. Because HIAB is going to be our first speaker of the day. They're presenters as well as sponsors of the expo. And what they're going to be walking through with us today is a great look at some new technology. So for everyone that's here, again, thanks for being here. I'm going to just do a quick intro to our presenters and speakers. We have Terry Fidler and Tony Danicke. Terry is a business development manager for HIAB and has been in that role for about 5 years. In his current role, he's responsible for the development of new products and the applications of those products throughout the industry. So that's his primary role. We're grateful for his participation in here and his willingness to share some of the latest things with all of us. Tony is the product manager in the product manager division. He's been with HIAB for 6 years. His current role is responsible for managing the success of the truck-mounted forklift products throughout the whole U.S. And so thank you guys for both being here. We look forward to hearing what you have to share, show, and tell. And so this is going to be kind of an extraordinary presentation because not only will we get to hear from insiders into how some of these tools and technologies work, but we also get to watch up close and personal them explaining their product in the field and giving us insights that we wouldn't otherwise get. In essence, we're going to get a much better look into this particular product than we would have at a traditional expo because of the hustle and bustle and activity of a traditional expo. So this is going to be a cool insight, in-depth look at a really cutting-edge technology and product that Tony and Terry developed and have brought to serve us in the industry. So, hey, Tony and Terry, thanks a lot for being here. Why don't you tell us a little bit about this?
Thanks, Bill. So, let me give a little bit of an introduction. Firstly, welcome to a Virtual Propane Expo presentation. We are going to do things, as you just explained, a little differently. In order to make the presentation a little more engaging, what we have done is we've developed a series of programs actually on our different products, and we've called it the Lift series. And in that Lift series, ultimately, we answer the most poignant questions regarding to the subjects that may be in question. And so what we've done here for this Propane Expo is created a Lift series on our new Moffett tank clamp solution. It's something we're very excited about. and something we believe can bring some real changes and efficiencies to the industry. Tony Danicke is with me today. He's the expert on this subject. He is our Moffett truck-mounted forklift product manager. And so he was very much involved with the design of the product and the development process and bringing it to the stage that it is now, where it's ready for market. So probably without further ado, we will play the video. You'll be able to see within the video questions answered and some video and some pictures that will give you a real good feel of the product and how it will help the LPG industry, as it were. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play it direct from my computer by sharing the screen, and hopefully everything will come through. Let me know if there are any questions straight away with regard to sound and that, but I think we have all the settings right. So, welcome to the HIAB Lift series. Today we're going to be talking about HIAB solutions for the LPG industry. And my guest today is going to be, once again, Tony Danicke, our truck-mounted forklift product manager. So let's get to the studio and see what we can find out about this industry. Hello Tony, and welcome back to the HIAB Lift Series studios. Today we're going to be talking about the LPG gas industry. Now I know that HIAB traditionally for many years have supplied solutions to this industry, mainly on the crane side. But you're here today to tell us a bit more about a truck-mounted forklift solution for the LPG industry. Tell me, what is it?
Sure, yeah, thanks for having me, Terry. So we're excited to announce that we've developed an attachment for the Moffett M4 series machines that allows the customer to pick up and transport bulk propane tanks in a safer, more efficient manner. This attachment is a hydraulically controlled attachment that is fitted to the fork board of the truck-mounted forklift, and it is fitted with non-marring surfaces to properly, safely, and securely transport a tank during the delivery process or during the tank refurbishment process at the customer's location.
So a truck-mounted forklift is used to pick up a tank instead of a crane, and it does this by forks going under the tank and arms coming down on top of the tank.
That's exactly it. So the hydraulically controlled attachment for the forklift is a set of arms that does fold down on top of the bulk propane tank. With the forks underneath the tank and the arms on top of the tank, it provides a secure mode of transportation.
So that with the truck-mounted forklift, LPG clamp, you clamp the tank. So could you squash the tank?
Yeah, great question. Actually, no, you cannot. So we have port relief valves installed into the attachment or into the hydraulic circuit on the attachment that prevents you from crushing the tank. But it does hold pressure enough to keep the tank secure on the forks.
So you know, it sounds great. Sounds like a great idea. But how does that bring efficiencies to an LPG customer?
So a Moffett truck-mounted forklift is able to be mounted and dismounted in less than a minute. So it brings quite a bit of speed to the delivery process. It isn't tied to a specific distance from the delivery truck. So the delivery truck could park on the roadway or in a parking lot up the street, and the truck-mounted forklift can take the tank directly to where the tank needs to be installed, regardless of the distance required to travel.
So that's talking about delivery. Sounds fantastic, but I'm also aware that on site these operators, they have many tanks on site commercially, and they have to move the tanks around. Does this truck-mounted forklift solution bring efficiencies there?
If you compare the Moffett truck-mounted forklift with the LPG tank clamp attachment to a boom truck that requires full setup, full rigging, slinging the tank, placing the tank, and then de-rigging and stowing the crane, the Moffett takes that all out of the equation and provides a faster solution for tank movement around the yard.
Okay, so I heard you mention safety in there. Now, I know that lifting tanks with a crane is actually a very safe operation, but I do understand that sometimes, you know, when a crane can't reach where it needs to go, the tank has to be put on like a cart and things like that. So I would guess that a truck-mounted forklift would bring a lot more safety to that operation.
Absolutely. So using a truck-mounted forklift as opposed to using a hand cart is a much safer solution. So typically those hand carts or even the powered hand carts are nearly impossible to safely operate using one person as compared to the Moffett truck-mounted forklift that can certainly be operated with one person. The Moffett truck-mounted forklift can take that tank anywhere through any terrain, where the hand carts or even the powered hand carts are very limited as to the terrain they can traverse.
So it seems to me that we're talking about tanks here. What tank sizes or what range of tank sizes can the truck-mounted forklift solution handle?
Sure, so we've designed this LPG tank clamp to handle bulk propane tanks from 250 gallons all the way up to 1,000-gallon tanks.
So if I've got a truck-mounted forklift in my yard, and I know I can move tanks around because I have this LPG tank attachment clamp, can I also use the truck-mounted forklift for other means, perhaps moving pallets and things like that?
Absolutely. So the way we've designed this attachment is so it will not interfere with the traditional forks that are on the machine, meaning palletized goods or other goods can easily be handled by the truck-mounted forklift as it generally would be without the attachment. The M4NX range has a capacity up to 4,500 pounds, and the attachment has no negative effects on that capacity.
Okay, Tony. What about transporting the truck-mounted forklift around? Can you transport your truck-mounted forklift with you on your traditional LPG delivery truck?
Yeah, so we can adapt most straight trucks or trailers to accept this truck-mounted forklift. Now, we are aware that most delivery drivers in the LPG industry do not have commercial driver's license. So we've designed the LPG tank clamp to mount on one of our lightest models in our product portfolio. This allows us to mount on a non-CDL 26,000-pound GVW truck while still offering enough payload for the industry's traditional operations. Alternatively, we can also configure the M4 machine with the LPG tank clamp to be transported on a trailer.
Well, thanks for the information today, Tony. Sounds like another fantastic solution from HIAB, and looking forward once again to see our HIAB solutions change in industry. Exciting stuff.
Thank you for having me.
So there you go. There's our lift series on the HIAB tank clamp solution. And so really what we wanted to do now was to open up a Q&A session where Tony can answer your specific questions that may have arisen from that video. And I wonder, Bill, how we're going to open that up.
Yeah, so sure. I'm going to go ahead and take myself off the over here. So down at the bottom, there's a Q&A button, and so everyone that's in the room right now for the presentation, you can go to the bottom of your screen, and there's a button for Q&A and chat, and you can feel free to go down there and click on that. Right now, I still have you, Terry, with the opportunity to maybe go back and forth on the video, so you can share different portions based on the questions that might come in. And I'll tell you what, if right now I don't have any questions in chat coming in just yet, so I'm just going to go ahead and reiterate for everyone that has your cursor, your mouse, you drag it to the very bottom of your screen. There's a chat section, there's a Q&A section. You can click on chat and you can type in your questions right into the chat. It's really easy to do from there. Although if you did have a Q&A question, you can go into the Q&A portion at the bottom of your screen. There's some buttons down there. Just take your cursor down there and the buttons will appear. So they might be invisible until you bring your cursor down there. It's kind of hidden until you bring your cursor down there. From my perspective, if you could give a little history, like how long, I didn't catch it, but how long has HIAB been working on all these different types of tank moving solutions and that sort of thing? How long have you been working on these different solutions? And tell us a little bit about when this came about.
Yeah, that's a good question, Bill. So
HIAB's been pretty active in the LPG market for several years, but really never with the Moffett truck-mounted forklift. We've been, predominantly playing with the HIAB knuckle boom cranes in its most traditional delivery methods. That there was, something missing from the market, and that was really a single person operation requirement from a lot of our potential customers and current customers, and then just a safer, more efficient way to do these deliveries. And we understood that terrain and accessibility was really a challenge in this industry. So our Moffett truck mounted forklift is 3-wheel drive machine, very terrain capable, sand, snow, mud, you name it, it can go through pretty much anything. So we found out that, that solution, our truck mounted forklift solution, would actually work seamlessly in the LPG segment if we could figure out a way to securely transport the tanks, not just on our traditional forks. Since the tanks are round, and obviously rolling off the forks is not something that we want to happen. So really that was the driving factor towards trying to develop a clamp attachment or some sort of attachment that allows us to securely transport those tanks. Now we've been working on what that perfect concept is for, I'd say, between 7 and 8 to maybe even 9 years, and this is probably our 5th or 6th iteration of what we thought a good solution would be. And we're finally to the point where we're very confident that this is the proper solution for the industry. The first version was, a set of pins that were attached to the sides of the forks that would engage in the feet, using a kind of a hydraulic fork positioner or fork spreader option. And we found that was just kind of tedious and hard to engage those pins properly. So as we progressed down the development route, we wanted to make sure that it was intuitive, easy to use, and really limited the opportunities for mishandling the tanks or not having them properly secured. So the arm style that you see here, the hydraulic arm style, is what we came up with, and it's absolutely 100% secure. I've hauled 1,000-gallon propane tanks on this exact machine here through some pretty crazy stuff, and that tank is just rock solid on the machine. So that's what we're after.
Yeah, it's brilliant. I know that it's a pain moving tanks, and this makes it look, honestly, a heck of a lot easier. So one question I'm sure that comes to mind to everybody is, what size tanks can you do? Can you move with this?
Yeah, so we can move anything from a 250-gallon or even a slim 500, all the way up to a 1,000-gallon tank, no problem at all. The machine that we have this attachment developed for has a 4,500-pound capacity. So lifting, I think what is a 10% max volume during transport. So 1,000-gallon propane tank, 10% in it, this would have no problem lifting at all.
So I've used your cranes in my propane companies and loved it, but I never saw this tool, obviously, because it just came out. Thanks for answering that question, because I was wondering if the circumference of a tank is going to be smaller for 250, so I was wondering if it can handle that. So thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, it absolutely can. So how you see on the video right now, how you see the tank situated on the forks and then they clamp would be how you transport a 250 or a slim 500. You wouldn't have it all the way up against the face of the fork. You'd keep it on the fork tips and then clamp it from the top. Whereas, a 500-gallon or a 1,000-gallon, you would put it right up against the fork face and essentially clamp the front of the tank to secure it to the fork face. So, we kind of thought of all the different scenarios and tried to have an attachment that would adapt to pretty much any tank size without having, 10-foot long, 3 pivot point, overly complicated arms. And we're able to do pretty much everything with this attachment here.
Yeah, it looks cool. So 3 wheels. Why 3 wheels instead of 4?
Yeah, so that's a great question, and actually one we get a lot, especially with people who are more familiar with counterbalance forklifts or the traditional style forklifts. So every forklift, 3-wheel, 4-wheel, I don't think they make 5-wheel yet, but maybe in time, all operate with a stability triangle. So on the truck mounted forklift that you're seeing here, each one of the wheels and its contact point on the ground creates a triangle, and that you have to keep your center of gravity within that triangle to remain stable.
So even a counterbalance forklift, even though it has 4 wheels, still operates in a stability triangle because those 2 rear wheels attach to the forklift with a central pivot point. So, we really saw no need to go 4 wheels, can keep our machine completely stable on 3 wheels just as well as a 4-wheel counterbalance could.
Up to 10% in that 1,000-gallon tank would be top end.
Yeah, so I mean, like I said, 4,500 pounds is the capacity of the machine. So you can take it right up to that 4,500 pounds. I just know that the 10% is a DOT regulation for transport, and typically what we'll see. I mean, I know there's going to be situations, namely emergency situations, where you'll have to pick a nearly full tank. But there's so many different rules and regulations surrounding that wouldn't be the typical. Typically I think the regulation is you can only haul that 1 tank, and you have to transport it to the nearest facility in an emergency situation. I mean, the machine would be maxing out on that capacity, but it would get the tank off the property and at least get it to a section of the area where a crane truck could pick it or something along those lines.
Yeah, I know that in propane companies I was running, we'd run into issues where the crane truck has to get really close to pick up a tank, and now you're driving over somebody's lawn, and it's wet. Now you've rutted their lawn, and this looks like you could get in there without driving your whole truck right out across their lawn. You could get in there with this and pick up tanks.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the intention here. You could park the truck that's hauling the tanks and hauling the forklift, a quarter mile up the road if you have to, or on their driveway, even if you have to, pull the tank around the back of the house, or really anywhere. It's limitless. So yeah, you'd park the truck where it's accessible. You'd pull the forklift off the truck. It takes less than a minute to take the forklift off of the truck. Come around, you grab the tank, and you can take that tank anywhere. Like I said, in the mud. I mean, if you search Moffett in the mud on YouTube, you're going to see some pretty crazy stuff. That's no different than what the machine you're seeing on the screen can do. It's a phenomenal piece of equipment. The forklift itself only weighs about 4,500 pounds. So, the ground pressure is substantially less than what it would be if you're moving a crane truck through a yard. So, we use big, wide, high flotation tires, as we call them in the industry, to keep that machine up floating even on mud and on sand. So you don't make those giant ruts and things like that. And it also reduces the chance of turfing if you're going into, a finished yard or, somebody's nicely manicured grass. It reduces the chances of tearing that grass up. We also have several tire solutions. So if you're operating on finished grass or nice landscaped property, we can put turf tires on this machine too. So there's no, big tread bars. There's a less chance even of turfing in with those tires on there as well.
That is fabulous. I know that sometimes it's hard to reach tanks. Sometimes they're in the back of just so far back in somebody's yard or tucked away, and you got to get in there with something like this. Really interesting solution. So what are some of the stories you've heard out there about its use and things like that?
Yeah, so we've had several field tests, I guess, is really where we're at in this. Several field tests in several countries, several geographic regions with various weather, ground conditions, and the feedback's been phenomenal. There's been no real issues that arose using this machine. The biggest challenge or question that popped up during development of this is how it needs to be transported. So what we found in the industry is a lot of the delivery drivers or the installation operators do not have commercial driver's license. So, hauling this machine on a tandem axle 33K GVW truck or bigger simply wasn't an option. So what we did is we went back to the drawing board and we figured out how to develop this attachment for our latest machine, which is the M4 that you're seeing here on the screen. And the M4 allows you to transport the forklift and enough payload, to have, 4 1,000-gallon tanks, or I'm sorry, 2 1,000-gallon tanks or 4 500-gallon tanks on the deck and still be non-CDL under 26,000-pound GVW. So the truck that you see here on the screen is able to be operated without a CDL and, pretty much do anything that, the boom truck could and more. That's the biggest challenge, and we've overcome that with the development here on this particular model.
Well, that's really cool. That's the first time I've heard something like that. I have to jump. There's a question from Dave, I think it's Dave Newman. How extensive are the hydraulic alterations to the machine to install this attachment? Is it a complete kit that includes hoses and everything required?
That's exactly it, Dave. So, when we spec out this machine, it's spec'd out 100% for this attachment. So there's an additional function on the valve bank, all the hoses, the diverter valves, everything required to operate this attachment is included into the machine. With saying that, this attachment is also completely detachable from the forklift as well. So it uses what we call our quick hitch attachment system. That allows this attachment to very easily be attached to the fork board or detached from the fork board. Has a hydraulic faster connection with a little handle. When you pull the handle, it disconnects your hydraulics leak free. So you can leave the attachment at the yard if you need to, and there's no complicated attachment or detaching that needs to happen. No wrenches required. Anything like that. But also the way we design the attachment is that if you have those arms that you see, securing the tank on the top, if you fold those all the way up, straight up, it won't interfere with the typical load area of the forklift. So you can haul, pallets or anything that a traditional forklift could handle, you can haul with this machine as well without that attachment being in the way.
Okay, so tell me the people who are most likely or already ordering these. What kind of use cases do you hear the most?
Yeah, so what we found during the field testing and the demo route, the road show as you call it, with this particular model is we had a lot of customers thinking they were too small, integrate one of these into their operations. Very quickly, we started asking questions as to why they think they're too small. And, a lot of them say, well, we don't do the volume of deliveries that, the majors do. The question comes back to, well, why wouldn't you want to be more efficient still? So, I guess to answer your question, Bill, is really anybody. If you're running one delivery truck or if you're running 100 delivery trucks, this forklift is going to add efficiency. So, you take one guy, put him in a truck with a forklift on it, and your tank's on the deck. He can go out, set all the tanks that he can, install them, hook them up, everything with one person. So, it reduces your workforce if that's something you're after. It increases the efficiency, operator efficiency, if that's something you're after. Reduction in workforce, operator efficiency, those all equal dollars to me. So, the more money, I guess, just, kind of claiming, as much money that's out there as possible by that regards. And then, the other big point to this, and really the major reason we developed this, was safety. So we all know the safety challenges that you face when you're out on delivery, namely if you have to take the tank someplace that the boom truck can't reach. You have to load them up on dollies or carts, and that's just very cumbersome. I mean, I know there's powered hand carts out there, but still those are extremely challenging still. Enter in snow, sand, mud, that's even more of a challenge. So the operator can essentially deliver and place his tank exactly where it needs to be without getting his boots dirty at all. And that's safer. So I hope that answered the question.
Yeah, it's going to allow us to install tanks where we couldn't have before, pick up tanks where it's really hard to go get them, not deal with the damage to people's property that we have to sometimes now. It looks fabulous. Now, is in your booth, in your virtual booth, do you have a link to your website? And on your website, do you have the videos? How can everybody see more videos of your different product line and more of this?
Yeah, so we do have a link to our website in our booth, so that will certainly get you to our US website, where you can see the breadth of our portfolio, some different applications that we play in, and you might be able to make some relations to how your business operates and some of the geographic regions that you may operate in that may warrant maybe a different solution. But yeah, I mean, there's tons of videos on YouTube. So if you type in Moffett or HIAB USA, type in some keywords there, you're certainly able to view all of our YouTube videos. We have our own YouTube channel, so that's a great way to really take a look at our products as well.
There's also a link to the spec sheets for the equipment on our booth in the virtual site.
Okay, so the booth has linked to the spec sheets. Can we get a link onto your booth that goes directly to your YouTube channel? Can we get that added, or would you mind if we add that on there to help people just connect with your YouTube videos easier?
Absolutely.
Yeah, please do. That'd be great.
Okay, we'll get that taken care of. All right. So I don't see any other questions coming in or chats. So if there's one thing you want to leave the propane industry with when it comes to this product, what would it be?
Yeah, so from my perspective, I think that, if you're focused on safety, efficiency, reliability, you should seriously look into this product. We feel will revolutionize the LP gas industry in way of delivery and tank installation. If you want to, stay one step ahead of your competitors, if you want to focus 100% on customer satisfaction, this is definitely the solution for you.
I have a question for you. You just, as I'm looking at this, I'm thinking, how long does it take you to lift the tank and set it with something like this as compared to a crane?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, in the video we referred to, the traditional delivery, and that requires if you're required to do it safely. So, using a boom truck, you're required to get as close to the installation point as possible, fully deploy your outriggers properly, go up and you sling the tank, you grab the tank, the slings, you place the tank, and then you have to de-rig, stow the crane, etc. With this solution here, like I mentioned, you can offload the forklift in less than a minute, grab the tank, I'd say in less than a minute as well. It's very easy to do. No rigging, no attachment. You simply pull up to the side of the truck, deploy your stabilizers, grab the tank with the attachment, stow your stabilizers, and go on about your business. I would say, if you compare it to a boom truck operation, it's a quarter to a third faster, more efficient, and absolutely more flexible when you compare them.
And the further, the more difficult it is to access the location point for the tank, the greater those efficiencies become evident. If you're literally putting it beside the truck, it's a quarter to a third more efficient to use the Moffett machine. But then when you have to get around the back of the building, you don't want to drive on someone's lawn, or you can't get access to it, this machine brings huge efficiencies, sometimes 3 or 4 times more efficient than the current traditional methods. Yeah.
For everyone that's looking at this, clearly you can pick up tanks a lot faster. You don't have to have all your employees with the ability to be gymnasts, jumping on and off trucks, climbing on and off tanks, and there's safety issues that we as an industry hold our nose, and we're climbing all over tanks, jumping on and off trucks. This helps. This will clearly help with some safety issues and prevent safety issues. So it looks like it's going to improve our safety, reduce time, bring more efficiency, help us be faster and more efficient, be able to do more with less people, and help us with the whole our insurance and liability and potential safety risks. So,
Bill, there's one more thing I'd like to add, and that's more about who HIAB USA is and what we can offer to the industry. And we're not only the OEM of the forklift, we also are a full one-stop shop as far as full package builds go. If a customer can wants to come to us and talk about the challenges that they have or the solutions that they're looking for, we can provide them the full package. So, we can source the chassis, we manufacture our own beds, manufacture our own accessories, we manufacture and install our own mounting kits. We can deliver this turnkey solution to the customer that's perfectly designed exactly for their operation. And in addition to that, we're able to service and maintain their equipment as well. We have over 200 technicians across the globe, 27 brick and mortar locations. I'm sorry, across the country, 27 brick and mortar locations across the country. And we're able to, keep these machines up and running any place, anytime, anywhere. With factory trained technicians. So, we're not just out there selling equipment. We're out there providing total solutions and keeping them operational.
Yeah, I speak to propane companies every day, sometimes many a day. And some of them, maybe they lost a driver because he got injured, or he's left, he retired. I don't know. Sometimes they are down on manpower. They don't have enough hands. The owner's driving, the managers are driving trucks or service work. They're all hands on deck. And tools like this that can help us be safer, faster, it's just critical. I mean, we think that it's just the young guys that are jumping up and off the trucks dealing with stuff, until you don't have enough hands to get stuff done. Now sometimes it's the manager and the owner, and it's people closer to my age there, and we don't want to be climbing off trucks. So there's just we're all trying to run leaner businesses, and in doing so, we need tools that are going to make us faster and more efficient and safer. So hey guys, thanks a lot for sharing this with us. We really appreciate it. Thanks for all the work that went into 9 years of real development to try to solve this problem. And I think that is emblematic of the vendor community and HIAB, where you're looking for ways to bring efficiency, to bring a new product out to the industry that hasn't existed before. And that takes a lot of work. So it does take a lot of effort, a lot of perseverance that we're grateful for as the propane marketers, the people that run propane companies. Thanks a lot, and thanks for being here on the Expo and sharing this with us.
Thanks for having us, Bill. I appreciate it.
Yeah, we do. We really appreciate the opportunity to present the product and to discuss it today. I think it's been really valuable. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. So everyone watching this, we're going to get this video put onto the Expo, so you can see it there, and you can then see it on our YouTube channel. You can go straight to the Moffett and HIAB YouTube channels to check out their videos there. So please do so, and share those videos and or this video with the people in your organization to help them get the benefit of being in the Expo. All right, everyone, thanks a lot, and we'll be in touch.